Yo people, welcome back to Bricks with Tips and welcome back to the Dubai Blueprint playlist. Now, if you don't know already, my name is Tayo Guntonode. I'm a TV presenter and property investor, and I co-founded Bricks with Tips with my wife, Antoinette. Now, Bricks with Tips is a platform that's aimed to help you with your finances, with buying property, and just help you progress. And in this particular playlist, we recently made a soft move to Dubai and we had loads of questions. So we have a whole playlist making it easier for you to make that move. So if you're new here and you appreciate that, make sure you subscribe. If you're old here and you haven't subscribed, subscribe. Guys, this is a full playlist as well, so make sure you go back to the first video so you can check it out. Without further ado, let's get into this video. In this particular video, we're going to be speaking about bank accounts. Now, you may think, why are we doing a whole episode on bank accounts? This is incredibly important if A, you're looking to be employed out here, B, you're looking to run a business out here, or C, you just need to get going in Dubai. It's super, super important. Now, we've been in Dubai for about 2 months now, so our views on the exact account we are using may change over time, but we are going to tell you what we picked and why from our perspective. Hopefully at a later date, we can give you some in-depth reviews about a particular account, but we just want to give you our thoughts and our setup. So in a nutshell, we're going to talk to you about personal accounts, business accounts, what you should know about banking in Dubai, the accounts we chose and why, and common mistakes to avoid. Quick video, let's get into it. So guys, if you don't know already, Antoinette and I love research, we love process as well. And that's why in this series, we spoke to you about getting your visa and your mobile number ahead of time, because a lot of the time, in order to open a personal bank account, you're gonna need a visa, an Emirates ID, and a UAE phone number. Yes, most personal bank accounts in the UAE, if you want to open a UAE account, require you to have a residency visa in the UAE. And this is for a number of reasons as well, so they know that you're here, or even when it comes to delivery of the debit card and the checkbook. Remember, everything in Dubai is kind of like interconnected. So when you think about it, to even rent a property, you need a residency visa, which we covered as well already. So when they're delivering your debit card, they're going to want to deliver it to where you're living, whether you rented or bought, basically. So if you're renting, they're going to want to deliver it to your rented accommodation, which you would have needed an Emirates ID to get in the first place, if that makes sense. To open a personal account in the UAE, you typically need 4 things: your passport, your residency visa, your salary or proof of income, and where you're living, proof of address. Now, I know we're going to go into our experiences, but I think I'll speak about these from our experiences as well. So passport is fine. Emirates ID, eventually we both got our Emirates ID, so that was fine when opening the accounts. Proof of income. So I'm self-employed. I didn't come to Dubai with any income whatsoever. All of my income was in the UK, but the account that I opened, which I'll get into, allowed me to use my income in the UK as proof of income. I just provided some statements and also showed them that I'm opening a business here as well. Regarding proof of income for Antoinette, remember Antoinette came over as well. She didn't have a job as well. So what we did, actually, let me show you. We were advised that Antoinette would need a salary letter. So we got a salary letter created, which had to be stamped by a company that we incorporate here, because Antoinette was going to initially be getting a salary from our company effectively. So yes, here it is. Stamp, done. Then lastly, if you are renting, you'll probably know that your Ajari is a super important document. You can get a digital version. Highly recommend keeping your digital version. We haven't pulled out our physical version since we got it. Digital version, keep it on WhatsApp. As we've mentioned in the previous videos before, it's important to watch these in order. A lot of things are done on WhatsApp, so it's important to keep it on your WhatsApp, and then that way, if you need to pull it and provide it to the bank and so on and so forth, you can do it that way as well. While this video isn't endorsing or recommending any banks, for those of you that might want to kind of like think about what sort of banks you want to look at, some of the popular banks out here are as follows. Emirates MBD. I see Emirates MBD as kind of like a flagship Dubai account. It feels like as common as Barclays, NatWest, or HSBC in the UK, or if you're in America, as big as like Chase Bank or something like that. Very smooth online banking interface, very quick transfers as well, and it's good for expats. Weo Bank, a digital bank. I see this like Monzo in the UK, or a digital bank equivalent in the US if you're from the US. Weo Bank is digital first, no physical presence. So it's kind of like Monzo in that respect. I personally love digital accounts just because of the ease of use. They use facial recognition for a lot of the things that they do. So it is secure in that sense as well. Abu Dhabi Commercial Bank is a popular option as well. I've heard they've got really, really good online banking, but I haven't tested it out myself just yet. Mashreq Bank is a big one out here, really good for fast approvals, which I'll get into in a second. HSBC UAE. Now, if you have a HSBC UK account, a HSBC UAE account can be really, really useful when you first come over, because they allow like for like transfers between the two accounts, basically. So sometimes when you're sending money over, especially when you think about the amount of commission that you're going to be paying when you're paying your rent over, especially if you're doing 2 checks, 1 check, or even 4 checks. If you're sending it in from GBP over, it can be a lot of money. So if you've got HSBC and you can do HSBC to HSBC, you can save a lot of money there. Right, guys, next up, business account. So as you know, we set up a business account as well. So I'll just go through the requirements from a very high level as well. So you'll need a business account if you set up a business in the UAE. You'll need a business account to match it, similar to how you would need that in the UK or the US as well. The requirements for a business account differ slightly, right? So you'll need your trade license and your memorandum of association. Now, guys, when you incorporate your business, all of those documents, you should just pack them together and keep them in one place, because people will always ask for that. You'll also need your passport and Emirates ID as well for all business owners. I would pack that in that same folder as well, obviously safely. You would also need your office lease agreement. That should have come with your trade license and your MOA. If you've got physical premises, then it would be your Ijari for your physical premises. But if you've got like a free zone virtual office, you should have a document that covers that as well, and you can send that as well. That works. The other thing you'll need, like any other business account, is proof of activity. If you've got a UK equivalent to your business, I found that in a lot of cases, I could show proof of the UK activity that I'm aiming to continue or mirror here, if that makes sense. Popular bank accounts. Let's go through popular business bank accounts out here. So once again, Emirates NBD, the business bank account equivalent, really good out here, really popular. Next up, WEO Business, for the same reasons that you look at WEO Personal. Mashreq Bank as well, Abu Dhabi Commercial Bank, and also RAK Bank is a very popular business account out here as well. Before we move on, if you have a free zone business, we spoke about free zone and mainland businesses in previous videos. So guys, it's important to watch this in order. And if you're enjoying this video, if you're still here, please just make sure you subscribe. I know you might be watching on the television. Please just put it up on the phone, subscribe, hit the like button, hit a comment, just so we can keep this channel running. But yes, if you've got a free zone business, when it comes to banking, you may face more restrictions than if you've got a mainland business. Hopefully that makes sense. Right, guys, so in this part, I'm going to introduce you to Antoinette and I's finances, the banking accounts that we use. So if you've been following the journey, you would have known that Antoinette had her Emirates ID first, and mine took a bit to come after. For context, Antoinette had a business visa that came through quite quickly. My golden visa and residency came in a bit after. So let's start off with the business accounts. First of all, guys, we needed a business account for one of our businesses that could be opened really, really quickly, because we had pending business that we were being paid in AED for, and we needed the account opened in a quick period of time, basically. We applied to 3 accounts to get this done. Now, bear in mind, at this point, I didn't have my residency at the time. Antoinette had her residency. So we were looking for an account that allowed a non-resident to open an account alongside someone that was a resident. Super, super important, because most accounts need all parties to be residents, right? First thing. We also needed someone who could turn it around really, really quickly. Like it was, look, I had sleepless nights about it. I was messaging every single day. So we opened it with 3 accounts. I won't mention all the 3 accounts. I'll just mention the account that made it happen. The account that made it happen and is known for fast approvals, as mentioned before, was Mashreq NeoBiz. So how the process worked is that we did it all online and via WhatsApp, which I'll get onto a bit later. And then we had to just go physically into the branch to sign. That was the only thing that we had to do. And then within a matter of like 48 hours, we got the checkbook and the online banking details. And we still don't have a card for it, but we don't need a card, a business card to run our business effectively. Just on that note, I'll go off on a tangent. Banking's very, very interesting, right? You do have banking with like perks and stuff like that. But a lot of the time, you stay with a bank just because of they're the first bank you used. So in the UK, when I was a child, the bank that my parents set me up with was a Halifax account when I was like 13 years old. I still have that Halifax account till this day. So how you're introduced to banking is really, really interesting. The chances are we'll have a NeoBiz account for a very, very long time, simply because they were the ones who could open it in the quickest period of time. So huge shout out to Mashrek NeoBiz. Next up, another business account that we used out here, because we do have more than one business in Dubai. I was very big on Monzo, as I mentioned. I had a Monzo personal account and 2 Monzo business accounts in the UK, and I also had 2 Revolut business accounts in the UK as well. So as you can imagine, I'm very keen on digital first banking, so it's no wonder that I went for a WEO business out here, which I'm very, very keen on as well. Digital banking, I love it. Right guys, when it comes to personal accounts, Antoinette and I both have a WEO personal each. Once again, we were very keen on Monzo and digital first banking in the UK, so we just mirrored that with a WEO personal account each, which we both love as well. And we have a joint account. Now, the joint account is for our bills, where we pay for like our DWA and so on and so forth. So we'll put money in that account and pay it out from there, basically. And that's where like the grocery shop and stuff like that will go, just so we can both have access to it and keep an eye on it, basically. And for that account, we use an Emirates MBD account. And also for our savings as well, we use Emirates MBD as well, because they've got a good variation of different savings accounts. Next up, guys, credit cards. Now, Antoinette and I don't have any credit cards out here at the moment, but there are probably 2 credit cards which we'll get, which I'll let you know about now. The first which Antoinette will probably get is an Emirates Skyward Infinity card. Now, it's probably worth us noting that these credit cards are solely for benefits purposes. This particular card at the time of recording comes with 100,000 bonus Skywards miles, which is a huge amount. It also gives you complimentary upgrade to silver status. Now, the key thing about silver status, what it allows you to do, it allows you to book a Emirates economy flight and then choose to upgrade to business at a later date. So you can go straight from economy to business. Typically, in order to use points, you can only go up 1 tier level. So from economy to premium economy, or you'd have to book a premium economy and upgrade to business. This allows you to book an economy and upgrade straight to business. You also get other benefits like complimentary access to like 1,000 lounges worldwide, complimentary access to golf courses in the UAE, access to a concierge, and like valet, free valet in certain locations as well. We will put a link in the description that will allow you to check this out. Now guys, this particular card does have a minimum salary requirement of 30,000 AED per month, which is roughly about £6,000 per month. If you are self-employed, you will likely have to do something called a fixed deposit or an FD. Now, this is where you keep a certain amount of money with the bank. It might be something like 50,000 AED, which is like £10,000. You just have to hold that in an Emirates MBD account whilst you have the credit card. When you no longer have the credit card, that money will be released. Hopefully that makes sense. Do note though, that money that is there is earning interest as well. Another card which I'm looking at is the Emirates Islamic Bank Black Skywards credit card. Now with this credit card, you get complimentary access to silver level on Emirates as well. You get 4 complimentary transfers to and from DXB Airport. You get complimentary access to golf courses. You get a concierge, and you get access to over 1,000 lounges as well. One of the key benefits of this card as well, which is extremely rare, is that you have the opportunity to fast track to gold status as well. Now, how you do this is that you need to have the card, and then you spend $5,000 on Emirates flights within 12 months. Then you get fast tracked to gold status. Now, depending on how often you fly and the class that you fly, it's probably going to determine if doing that or aiming for that is worth it or not. The card itself has a fee of 2,100 dirham. And if you want to utilize the fast track, that comes at a cost as well of 3,675 dirham. So the fees can stack up, but it just depends on if that is worth it for you. Also worth noting that for this card, a salary and fixed deposit will apply as well. Now, once again, if you want me to go into these cards in a bit more detail, just leave a comment below. I am happy to make a full video on this. Right guys, last but not least, tips, tricks and interesting points about banking in the UAE. The first one, if you're a woman and you get a bank, sometimes you might get a lady card. For example, Antoinette has a lady Emirates MBD card. Number two, everything is done via WhatsApp, and sometimes even your banking can be done via WhatsApp. If you have the connects, you can contact someone and speak to them via WhatsApp to arrange your banking application. Or even when it comes to signing, like I remember when I was opening one of my accounts, the guy said that, look, I'm off today, but I live in Abu Dhabi. If you want to come and sign, you can come and sign in Abu Dhabi. I think they had a branch out there. So things are a lot more flexible than you typically find in other countries. 3, sometimes approvals can be slow, so definitely plan ahead. Some banks can take anything between 2 to 6 weeks to open a bank account. 4, your account can be frozen without notice, so make sure that any transfers in and out can be backed up with like invoices and stuff like that. Especially international transfers can be flagged, so definitely be careful with that and make sure you have the required invoices. 5, you cannot get a credit card without residency whatsoever. 6, checks are used massively in the UAE still a massive thing. Most accounts will come with a checkbook. 7, for security purposes, when you're adding a new payee, your bank will often have a restriction to how soon you can transfer their money effectively. Some banks is as little as 2 hours, but some banks are as big as 12 hours. I've got an account that you have to wait 12 hours after adding a payee. Now, this can cause some disruption when doing business. So typically when I know I need to pay someone new, I'll ask them for their details very, very early on. 7, quite often than not, depending on the account you choose, your bank may charge fees if you don't maintain a minimum balance or have a minimum amount of money going through the account. 8, your transfer limits in a day are typically much higher than you'd find in the UK. So it's not uncommon to have an account that has a transfer limit of 500,000 dirham, $500,000 dirham, which is about 100,000 pounds. For example, I've got a bank in the UK and they are adamant that I can't transfer more than 10,000 pounds out of the account. I won't name them. 9, joint accounts are rare if you're not a married couple. And number 10, the implications of not paying debt in the UAE can be considerable. It starts as standard as higher interest rate fees and your credit score taking a hit. It then moves on to the fact that if your salary account is linked to the credit card, it's the same bank, they can actually just take your salary without permission, or they can freeze your account as well. The bank can actually file a police case against you if you've got a huge amount of unpaid debt, and that can lead to a financial blacklist through the police, court summons, and it can also lead to a travel ban as well, so you can be stopped at the airport. If it gets really, really extreme, it can get to a point where it leads to deportation as well. Anyways, that's just an FYI for you guys watching this channel. As you know, you guys are with Bricks with Tips. You've been with Bricks with Tips. If you're new here, welcome. And these cards or these credit cards we're only looking at them for the perks, man. We're only here for the perks, which means that we're only using them. We're only spending on these credit cards when we have the funds in the bank account already. Hope you guys have enjoyed this new installation to the Dubai Blueprint. We've got some new exciting videos coming up for you guys as well, showing exactly how much we spent to move here. We're just getting used to our monthly payments, so we'll tell you about what our monthly payments are as well, what it's like getting a job, and so on and so forth. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe, and in the comments let us know which banks you want to hear more about, if any. And yeah, looking forward to seeing you on the next one. Peace.